What is going on?
G'day, Tex and Adz here with you, the dynamic duo doing it once again. Phew, what a day, what a week. ETFs, all-time highs. It has been a hell of a week. It was really beautiful to wake up this morning and see that run up to that 67K zone, ETH pumping, the Discord pumping. The prune was the best thing I think we ever did for that Discord, to be honest. So if you see the links down below to our Discord, just note that we're going to stop people from coming in at the moment, but we will allow a 2-day period throughout the course of the month where we'll let new people into our Discord. So it's locked and shut down. Go to unitytradinggroup.com and you can come in, and we'll randomly open that up a couple of times, maybe during the month. So stick around for that one. But yeah, some serious alpha being thrown around at the moment. We had this move down on BTC down to that sort of 64K mark, which was, what was that? That was about $100 shy of where I was looking to load back up again. But I know some of you boys got some buys on that dip. I did get one on ETH as well. So really interesting day. And also stick around till the end here too, because what we'll do is for someone in our Discord at the moment that is watching, we'll give away the brand new version of our Unicorn 2 update, which we just rolled out last night. This thing is a killer. We've got Gravy Train, and now we've got Unicorn as well. There's literally nothing that we can't do with these indicators. So let's get into it and have a little bit of a look. We can see here now on our screen, we've got the Fib extension tool on there, because when a coin hits all-time high and it hits price discovery mode, we need to be able to understand where these hidden levels of support and resistance lie when you don't have a data to the left telling you where price may be headed towards. So we can see that we punched pretty pretty securely through that supply. That one is absolutely toast, and we have settled perfectly on our one fib extension. So, Ads, give us the rundown of where you think we sit now, and where our state of play is at the minute.
This is the it's really going to be tied into fibs here. It's going to be, if we're going to start to move to the upside, in which, that's what the trend's looking like for now. Fibs are going to come into play as we were using them prior to this price point, when we were running up to 60,000, 55,000, 52,000 around the first time. So fibs are very important. But when it comes down to the level of supplies and demands, we have, like Ty mentioned, smashed through this level now. So we can remove it. We'll keep it on the chart for the minute. But it's really going to come down to, where the pullback is going to be. There is going to be a pullback. Let's not kid ourselves, of course. We've run up for quite some time from 41 to 65. There will be a pullback eventually. You can see the steamroller indicator on the 4-hour time frame is suggesting that is the case, as well as RSI, of course. So it's going to be an interesting one. I don't think the pullback is going to be relevant on the daily. That's why I zoomed into the 4-hour time frame. I think it's going to be more, towards the 4-hour time frame, if I'm honest. And it's going to be, towards some of this consolidation area that we're finding ourselves in. So if we let's bring up a new BTC chart, because it's going to get a little bit convoluted if we do it all on one. I'll just bring up USDT for now. So I'll have a look at a brand fresh one. In regards to our retracement, let's go from swing low to high, and you can see the validity of these zones pretty much immediately. So you've got, the area at 23, could probably extend that a little further down. We've got, areas at 38, and of course the 50. 61 is probably a little bit of a stretch at this point, but I think the 23 and the 38 are going to be nice and relevant. Probably the 23 immediately, but I think 38 in the longer term might be one to look for. So we're looking at around a 58,000 BTC, and the reason why I say the 23 as well is because we've got 60,000 there too. So 60,000 being that nice round number is usually psychological support, as we've mentioned in the past, quite significantly. But the reason why I say both is because we've got 60k at 23, and of course the 38.2 is the most relevant area for a pullback when it comes to fibs. So using this zone, we could extend all the way up to 73, even 78, if we're looking at these fibs in particular. I think those two targets are on the cards eventually, but a pullback is in order, just to give us a little bit more steam, a little bit more headroom, and it's healthy in the long term to see higher highs than what we've seen today and yesterday.
Yeah, definitely aligning with that, and I'm just moving my stops up incrementally as things continue to move up, rather than jumping out of positions. Because what I find in instances like this, if I cut a position at 50% profit, I often find that we'll keep running. So what I'll do is I'll move my stops up manually, let it get hit if need be, and then continue to let the rest sort of ride. But as Ad said here, really where we are now, based on FOMO, ETFs, late buys into the market, price discovery, it could just as easily shoot up towards that 73, 74k as what it could pull back. So we're kind of in the middle of that relevant zone at the moment. Still at a point where I think BTC needs a little bit of a cool off, where it could consolidate for a little bit, and then we'll continue to see the alts run. I'm talking about the USD pairs, mind you, where we are at the moment. We saw Sol pop today, LTC pop as well, Serum had a go, OMG had a little bit of a go. So there's a lot of opportunities out there at the moment if you aren't exclusively trading BTC. That is, F is obviously another one as well. So I would just be cautious. I wouldn't be aggressively jumping into too many positions at the moment. Again, still continue sticking with just a couple of coins. Let the market give you an idea of direction before you go too ham on things, and continue enjoying the profits that are being made at the moment. But this is a really relevant tool. Make sure you go to unitytradinggroup.com. Just go to our YouTube channel and type in Fibonacci extension. And we do an example on ADA showing you exactly how this fib tool works, because a lot of coins are going to start heading into price discovery mode soon with the market that it is at the moment. If it continues the way that it is, Q4, Obviously, we'll see some really brilliant runs on a lot of coins. Sol is certainly one that I'm looking at. Serum, Ren is another one. All Sam's coins. I'm going to do a video for you tomorrow on all the coins that Sam Bankman-Fried is investing in and trading at the moment. So you want to follow where the billionaires are going. But yeah, I think that's a good cover of BTC at the moment. Maybe we want to jump into F.
Absolutely, and I just want to say one more thing when it comes to BTC. We did look at it just before on the 4-hour time frame, but on the daily it looks okay. Like I said, we are still overbought, I guess, on a daily as well, so a pullback is necessary. But in regards to those Fibonacci extensions, we've got a lot to look forward to. We've got the 138, which is 72, 168, of course, is 78. So that's aligning very nicely with the retracement that we just looked at on the 4-hour time frame. So, the upside is strong. We could have a little bit more volume on the daily time frame, but hey, look, we've made a higher high, so we'll enjoy it. And of course, we'll look for more opportunities as we do pull back and gain some steam.
Totally. All right, F. Let's have a squism at F. Doing very well, obviously, just shy of that top supply zone. It's only a matter of time before F makes another all-time high as well. There's no doubt about that. Not really a great deal to say on this. Continue watching BTC. F showing a little bit of strength when BTC is showing signs of weakness, which I really like as well. And someone asked me today, they said, do you use LTC as a gauge of alt strength? To a degree, but LTC will more so emulate BTC than what Ethereum does. So when I'm looking at alt strength, obviously I'm looking at the Ethereum USD and the BTC pair, in fact, as well. Because when the BTC pair bottoms and starts turning, your Bitcoin dominance starts falling a little bit. That would be more of a gauge of alt strength for myself than what it would be looking at LTC, for example. So Adz drawing our path on there. That was exactly what we pretty much drew, I think, a week and a half or so ago, or on last week's update, where we said a pullback to either that golden pocket or that 38 zone, talking about the relevance of the 38 was really important. And Adz drawing them up again now here. So what are we doing here? Showing something very similar. Yeah, could have a very similar pattern play out from there. With ETH, I'm still in my spot longs on ETH. When we had a decent little 1-hour pin bar today, I thought things were going to get a little bit wobbly. I was a little shaky on that profit finger, but I'm any opportunity to buy pullbacks on ETH and BTC right now are strictly warranted. So I think if you're not in the game right now, wait for things to simmer and then look for the pullback opportunity and jump the hell in.
With Ethereum, we're pretty much maintaining a very similar pattern as we did before. We had a push up, we had a pull back to about the 38, and then we pushed up to the 38. So in this instance, again, push up to 0, pull back to 38 will probably be on the cards for me personally, and of course push back up to the 38 if we are to get some more volume and push through the level of supply to create that higher high. And that would really suggest as such, because of that level of steam oil that we're looking down below. And of course, if we are to put on our unicorn indicator, as we did mention, we've got a lot of bits and pieces to play with, but we'll delve more into it.
Unicorn.
UTG unicorn.
Yeah, UTG unicorn. That's version number 2. Yep.
That one there. That's the one.
So this is the new and improved unicorn. So a lot of features. I'm going to be recording a video on this later on as well for anyone who's interested in this. But a couple of additions that we've made to that as well. We've got the Bollinger Band infillers now. We've got our Unity channels. But what's really interesting that I really love about this is also a bit of a volatility matrix as well that help you identify volatility in the market. So that's our... We've got our volatility switch down the bottom there. We won't go into it right now, but we'll talk about it in the video that I'm going to release. But for me, really personally, this is one of my favorite parts. It's an instant switch between a simple exponential and volume-weighted moving averages. So massively beneficial in this type of market if you are an MA trader as well. And then, of course, your super trend exit and your super trend stop losses. They they pay for themselves. It's ridiculous how good they are. So I'll film a video on that tomorrow and share that with you as well. But yeah, certainly on the daily time frame, still some room to move. Nothing looking too detrimental to the overall health of Ethereum at the moment.
Very good for ETH. I like that one for ETH. What else you want to look at tonight, my friend?
Just also as well, I'll just quickly highlight on Gravy Train printed the first long signal outside of our Gravy cloud on the daily time frame today as well. So pretty notable for Ethereum on the daily time frame, Adz.
Absolutely. And if I go like that, there we go. So you can see the cross up daily push up for GT. That's a good sign because it we're looking at all time highs for BTC. And then we are now just crossing over to the upwards trend momentum on the Gravy Train indicator. So that looks okay too.
100%. Huge.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at LTC because that was one that we get asked a lot about inside the Discord as well. So we've been talking about LTC since about that $152 mark where we saw this descending wedge on the daily time frame. We put our volume profile on, showed us that $181 mark was really the point of control where the most amount of volume had been traded, which was absolutely correct because as you can see, we sort of consolidated around that period here, which showed a higher amount of trading volume. We did the same thing here again, and then and bang, up we go. So hitting that 100 extension fib target. Yeah. LTC for me is still definitely one to watch, and this could be a great opportunity if you don't own many Bitcoin or any Bitcoin. The LTC is certainly going to, I think, melt faces towards the end of this year. It just has these runs where it just gets so aggressively bought up, seemingly for no reason, even when BTC is consolidating or not correlating to upwards moves. LTC just rockets and makes its move. So I think one of the OG coins, LTC, will really have a good run towards the end of this year. And then even looking at the structure to the left-hand side there as well, there's not a great deal holding this back. So I definitely feel that 230, 220 mark on LTC is not too far away.
I certainly agree. Just because of what we see up the top there, we've got a very nice, very high quality level of supply up the top there where it's printed basically on a pivot point. You can see that immediately, and it lines up very nicely with I guess some of the price action that's sitting at that point. There's not a lot of price action holding us up in between the 2 points, of course. When I'm referring to points, the points we're looking at, these levels of supplies. Of course, there's nothing in between those two levels. Let's put Gravy Train back on. Hang on one sec. So there you go. So we've got a lot of bits and pieces in terms of the cloud structure that we're forming now, where the old levels did meet, and we're in a very decent uptrend in terms of Gravy Train, as far as Gravy Train is concerned. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back to retest the top of this level of supply. Of course, the Gravy Train cloud, as you see it here, because we could probably draw in, that level in terms of the level of support there on the cloud. You can see how that's starting to move to the side. As it does up the top here correlate with our level of supply, it can correlate in this instance here. So this sort of movement over the course of the next week or so might be the key, or the play that LTC goes for on the 4-hour time frame.
Yeah, I think any opportunity between, let's sort of say, like 195 and 185 is going to be a very good opportunity for any pickups on LTC. Personally, that's exactly what I'll be doing. So even as we head towards the daily time frame, starting to get a little oversold on our oscillators, RSI approaching the top of that band, and Steamroller getting close to an oversold condition on the daily time frame as well. But as we've said in previous times, where things are moving like this, when things are running a little bit on FOMO and retail interest and the whole market is moving in sync, sometimes oscillators aren't the most reliable forms of confirmation. We always take into consideration RSI as a really important feature in our trading, but that's where supply and demand comes in. And that's why sometimes you can put your daily trader hat on and just let things run and buy dip opportunities and not freak out at every oscillator that's looking oversold. So yeah. LTC definitely one to watch. That supply zone that Adz got up there is bang on the money at the moment. But as always, consider what BTC is doing. It needs to to have a little breather. Needs to have a little breather, which would be a very good thing for the overall market.
It definitely would, because like I said, we've run to the upside for quite some time, and of course that's very true on the 4-hour time frame as it is on the daily. The daily, we are coming up to a very critical time where we are coming into overbought territory, and we all know how valid that is on a daily time frame when you're taking in so much information. That it's very evident on the 4-hour as well, and in the lower time frames that, well, especially some of the upper time frames, I guess it's talking about 4-hour, 8-hour, stuff like that, where it's very easy to tell, and this holds true across the USDT pairs or the USD pairs as well, where we're seeing that overbought condition. Yes, we've been overbought, or we can be overbought for quite some time, but we have to take it as it is and read the chart as it stands. We can't be, we can't maintain an upwards movement for forever, I guess. We can't say we're going to be bullish for the next 2 weeks straight without a pullback, because that's probably untrue. There will be a pullback to some degree, I guess, depending on the time frame as well. Might not be on the daily. We might be overbought for quite some time on the daily, but you might find it will pull back to the 23s, the 38s, the 50s, in terms of fibs on the 4-hour time frame. So make sure you are, backing yourself up, because when it comes down to irrational upside movement, when it comes to crypto in general, we will move to the upside relentlessly on the daily, and it will be up to you to look at those smaller time frames, whether it be 4-hour, 6-hour, 2-hour, whatever you want to do to gain, to look at those critical points and negotiate your entries that way.
Totally. Well, let's have a look at Sol coin, because Sol is pumping as we speak at the moment. We shared inside the Discord earlier this morning, I think at around $1 or 170 bucks. I think it was 172 this morning. I'm not in this personally, but I shared a little bit of an insight between the correlations, or the look of LTC before it pumped and Sol. And that was $20 ago. So that was at 172. We're now sitting at $191. And as I said, as I have said for the last couple of weeks, I think when alts begin to recover, Sol will be one of the quickest ones to recover. And here we are, certainly so. So headed up pretty well towards that top supply zone. Seemingly still a little bit of room to move on Steamroller on the 4-hour. The RSI looking very oversold, but with any move like this, of course, you would expect a pullback. That is very unsustainable, that move to the upside. And we've seen big sustained moves to the upside like this, and how they can pull back quite quickly. So I think a retest of this area would be certainly on the cards for Sol if we pull back, because it seems to pull back pretty quickly.
Yeah, when we well, I'm looking at the exact same point. We're looking at between 38 and 23. I think is the most appropriate, because we do have a previous top, and we do have resistances to the left hand side when it comes down to that point as well. In regards to what Tidy mentioned about being cooked, I guess this is a really good example of that. And exhaustion comes into play and it is highlighted by the fact that we're looking at Steamroller, and it is exhaustion that you see with that red bar running down the middle of the indicator as well. So, sky high for RSI, getting there for Steamroller, and of course you could see just by the price action that is an unsustainable move. We should be looking towards this area for a pullback at least to give us some breathing room to shoot for the top level of supply, because it is good. It is a very high quality level at the top here at around $208, $210 at the top. And it would be, a pretty easy target, to be honest, because it stands out. It really does. When we're looking at the overall market pivot, we've got not a whole lot to choose from, and we've broken these. And of course, these are the most relevant ones down below, but that's still a very, very far, maybe unfathomable area away, if I can say that correctly. But yeah, the most relevant area in terms of where we're going is 210. So looking okay for Sol. in the longer midterm.
Totally. And then if Sol continues to run, I'll be looking at Serum, SRM. We don't need to get into this. Maybe I'll do an old update. And I've been requested a lot, particularly on YouTube, to do an update on our altcoin scanner through Binance.
Right.
And as the market has changed since 2019 when I recorded that,
Yeah.
How that may change. I'm using that more than I ever have at the moment to find little altcoin gems. OMG is running quite well at the moment. OMG VET is another one that I'm looking at. FTT, based on the Sol action, I think will be next to have a go. Serum is looking really nice at the moment. I'd probably be looking at like maybe an $8.70, $9 area of interest for Serum at the moment. It's in a little bit of a channel. And then from that as well, AVAX is another one that I'm looking at too, that may continue that run up towards $100 that I was hoping for about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And of course, for parabolic moves out of absolutely nowhere, MATIC is definitely another one as well. One thing that I have noticed on MATIC is how quickly it can run and run quite aggressively. So I think a sort of $1.70, $1.80 level of interest for MATIC maybe on the cards very shortly for that as well. You can see how it had this move pretty quickly from that sort of that $1.25 up towards that $1.60 mark. If we put our fibs on from our swing low to our swing high, I shared a little bit of alpha quite a while ago of pullback zones towards that golden pocket when things have these impulse moves to the upside, and I managed to snag a little buy on that at 38 at the 38 level, and I've closed out since then, but I'll film a video on that for you as well. But yeah, a lot of coins looking really nice at the moment, but certainly don't be jumping into too many over leveraged positions if that's the way you want to trade, or heavy positions, because it can smack down just as quick as it can go up. So choose your battles and have healthy stops and healthy positions adds.
Absolutely agree. And looking at MATIC, the most relevant area for me is $1.70. I'm not sure, what did you say, $1.70? Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yes, sir. That's where I would be looking. So, XLM for you, Dory, as well. I know you're watching at the minute, Fish. That's a great one. Can continue trading that one. And we still stand by the fact that, when you find a coin and you understand its movements, excuse me, when you find a coin and you understand its movements, trade that coin. You don't have to, you don't have to be in a million coins just because somebody says it's going to pump, or because I say OMG is a good buy, or FTT, or whatever it is. That's just me. But yeah, understand a coin, focus on those few, and look out, pull back to the 50 perfectly from our update on Tuesday. So that was exactly as we mentioned.
Yeah, Fibs is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It's almost like it works.
Look, just draw right, just draw left to right, bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, go to bed. That's it. That's it.
100%. And for me, it's 100 for me. Slightly longer term holds on these coins as well. So, don't be buzzed out by every little move. But longer term holds are on the cards at the minute for sure. Yeah,
look, if you have the schedule like us, 4-hour 1 day works really well. And if you're playing it relatively simple, Titrade's a little different than I do, but you're looking at, supplies and demands, Fibonacci, using your 3 main points and shooting for the highest quality. It's a pretty straightforward way to trade, and you're looking at free time most of, most of the time. If you were trading the lower time frames, you wouldn't have that space in between, or that time in between, and you're looking at a little bit more stress-free environment, I think, is the best phrase to put towards it, I think.
Stress-free is key.
Yeah.
The 1 day time frame, and swing trading will do that for you.
Do we want to look at any others?
Let's have a look at VET, just because I'm super interested to get your thoughts on that.
BTC, USD.
USD. We're at a point now where, similarly to LTC, there's not a hell of a lot of structure holding this thing back from moving up towards that sort of 15 cent mark.
Yeah, 15 cent looks really good.
Yeah, and VET it is another coin that can just run on impulse, seemingly. It just has a bit of a cult following, which seems to always have a move when you least expect it on VET. It's almost like Theta it just kind of runs for no apparent reason. So looking really on any time frame, whether we look on the daily time frame that I'm looking at now, on Ichimoku, because I like to mix things up a little bit. It's the kind of trader that I am. We're sitting above the cloud now, and our Chiku is also sitting above the cloud. So from an Ichimoku standpoint on VET on the 1 day time frame, looking prime, certainly a pullback to that cloud zone at around 12 cents may be warranted before a continued move up. But even on our oscillators, looking pretty healthy. Unicon's just given us a go signal on VET, and Gravy Train is showing our edge to edge landing at about that 15-cent mark. So all in all, for me, VET, I'm not making any calls, but certainly looks quite good.
It does. It's sort of in nowhere land currently, because we're just about to make a higher high and continue the trend to the upside. So we would need to see where this sort of movement takes place to, if we're going to see one. It does strike me that it could probably head to around, using fibs again. I think 78 is probably doable at this point at 0.14 or 14 cents. From here, where we're looking at 12 to 14, so you're looking at a span of around 12 or 15% from where we are now. So that looks okay. And then we can probably observe where it's going to go next before we reach for the level of supply. Because I think at the level of supply, 15 cents, as you did mention earlier, is definitely on the cards, where we've got that high quality level of supply sitting at that point. So yeah, it looks good. I think it's going to have a little bit of a push, then a pullback, then a push before we see 15 cents. But in the midterm, I think 15 cents definitely on the cards for VET.
Yeah, totally. And as we said, this is one of the coins where it can have pretty decent little impulse moves, and it might be worth just setting aside a little allocation, perhaps, if that's the way you want to trade it, and not being in and out too often, and just sort of seeing where it goes in a few weeks. But yeah, for me, VET, it's not something that I've traded a hell of a lot in the past, but I've really got my eyes on it at the moment. So that's just my take. Don't take anything we say as trading advice, that's for sure. Well,
cool.
Maybe. Maybe. Anyway, for what we everything that we do, unitytradinggroup.com. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down the bottom. Turn on your notifications, so every time that we go live, there's going to be a lot of content coming from UTG in the next couple of weeks. As I said, I'm going to show you how you can find really healthy, good little entries after parabolic moves or impulse moves. We've got a video coming on Unicon 2 very shortly as well. We've got a lot of suggestions of people to show, trade calculators, position sizing, risk management, a whole bunch of things like that, which we're going to be filming over the next couple of weeks and releasing a video for you according to that. So if you have suggestions, leave a comment below on what you'd like to see, and we're happy to record it. And keep an eye out for that Discord, which will be open sometime this month. We'll announce it in a YouTube video, so you see it here first before we release it anywhere else.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you very much. Trade safe and enjoy the gains, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.